What's up, podcasters? Lovely world. Welcome to the Global Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, D, of course, with the other fellas, and we got a special guest today, TetrisGoddess. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Doing okay. Thank you
Work,
very
Fantastic.
Pretty good. Can't complain.
That was so much energy, y'all. I just love it.
much. It's late for me.
I-
I'm
I
saying
was
it's
gonna
late.
flip some furniture, but Tina told me not to.
Man, that was a lot of energy, y'all.
Hang on, sorry. I'm doing great. Yeah. There you go.
That's what I'm talking about.
We are gonna catapult into the podcast on couches at some point. We just don't have the budget for that yet.
Facts. But now we're here with special. It is late for me, midday. Give me a moment, y'all. I just got off the work. English is gone out the window. Special day. We got content creator, podcaster, OnlyFans creator, all-round personality. Tetris, man, tell us how you're doing. A little bit about yourself. Say hello to the nerds.
Yes, fellow nerd here, you guys. Thank you so much for having me. As my name suggests, I'm obviously obsessed with Tetris. I've played Tetris since I was about 7 years old. Love the game. And when I started my streaming journey, I thought you had to be a gamer to stream. So that's where the name, came out. But I ventured off into my podcast series called Goddess Grill Sessions, where I love grilling people, love interviewing, I love podcasting. Your very own Mad Artist Entertainment has been a guest. I've worked with some amazing people. I also am an OnlyFans creator. I love to show my sensual side and also connect it a little bit to spirituality. And I am just multifaceted. I love to dance. I do art. I do cooking. I do writing. I started drums. So I am not like your niche page, niche type of creator. I do a little bit of everything.
You're a Renaissance woman.
Exactly. Try to be.
How you
Anyway.
do it. Now, we appreciate you taking out the time here to chat with some sweaty nerds over here about the in and outs of being a content creator, whether it's YouTube, OnlyFans, and you're picking up drums. As a fellow drummer here, what's up, girl? I see you.
Oh my gosh, fellow drummer. It's not easy.
It's fun. It's fun. You got to get that rhythm in, stay in the pocket. It's easy to lose the
it's a
pocket.
lot of fun. It's a lot
I'm
of
a
fun.
DJ.
Ooh, I'm
Yeah.
a lover of all music. See, I know a little bit about that also is such a skill, such an art. And by the way, I'm also sweaty, just FYI. I just thought I'd throw that in there. I am also a sweaty individual right now. I don't know what I was thinking picking this heavy outfit today.
No.
That's all right. I got a long hoodie on, so
There
I'm
you
with you on
go.
that.
We got co-hosts. What's up, little one?
Hi.
Yeah.
Hasn't
right
been
here.
In the minute.
What's up, buddy?
Hasn't been in a minute.
You
Yeah.
right here.
You have any questions, dude?
Yeah,
Got
what's
any
your
questions,
favorite
little
retard?
dude?
Sounds like
Oh
a
no,
shitty
no,
pal.
this is my daughter right here. He in the other room.
Yeah, she ain't got no questions right now, but I do. So, starting on your content journey, what was the first, did you decide to go to OnlyFans first, or gaming, or just putting out your podcast? Which avenue did you decide to go down first?
Yeah, my first stream, I just hit live on Twitch and I started with the just chatting because I didn't know how to go about having my Tetris. I didn't know what I was doing actually. So when I hit stream, I started with just chatting and I had a lot of people in chat ask, "Hey, are you on OnlyFans?" I didn't even know what it was at the time. So I looked into it, and since I've always been a very sensual, sexual person, I decided why not, and I started creating solo sensual content for OnlyFans right when I started streaming. So that's been almost 4 years now.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
That definitely leads me into my follow-up. I'm sorry, y'all. My follow-up question
No,
is,
you're good.
with this being OnlyFans, and it usually comes to a taboo topic of it, maybe
Sure.
like something to be shunned. How do you deal with that criticism? People might be like, "Oh, you do OnlyFans? That's nasty." You know what I mean?
Yeah. Unfortunately, all types of sex work is all pushed into one category within the minds of other people. And being I'm a very sensitive, empathic person. I will say that I have had trouble with it. I will say that the way I'm talked to at times, the judgments I get from other females, especially at times, can be a little much. There's always this misconception, like, she's trying to take our man, or she's this or that, or she's just they're
projecting insecurity.
They're projecting their own insecurity. And if someone were to actually take a moment to look at my content, they would realize that it is not at all what they perceive it to be. And if somebody actually took time to get to know me as a creator, they would see that I have a very high, I have so many things I do. I'm highly intellectual. Just the other day, I had a commenter say that anyone who does OnlyFans, any OnlyFans woman is not smart.
That is crazy.
Let me tell you, that is one thing that I just thought it was laughable, because I am very highly intelligent. The subjects that I podcast on even are just beyond nerdy. So it can be difficult to deal with.
I get it. And the thing is, for all those naysayers out there who would love to judge someone's intellectual persona based off OnlyFans, is crazy. Because in order to do that, become high ranking, you are in the top 15%. That's a businesswoman intellect and a businesswoman side that not too many people have.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You do have to be very business minded. I'm also very, I am a stickler for professionalism, although people may define me as not being professional because of if I show, too much skin or whatnot. But I'm a stickler for respect. And you do have to be very business minded. It's a constant grind. Another misconception. I'm sorry, I'm a talker here, you guys.
We love talk. We need it.
Another misconception that people often have, I've been told, well, you take off your clothes and you earn thousands. And it is not at all that. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of vulnerability. It's a lot of scrutiny, especially when you are someone like myself. I grew up in a time where having a curvy body was not considered attractive at all by society. So there's a lot there, and I really put myself out there and open myself and be vulnerable to other people. It's a lot. It's a lot of work.
It is. And we appreciate you for being, open and transparent with everything that you do, especially your art, especially your body is your temple and your art, and to share it with someone who really won't appreciate it mentally out there, but hats off to you.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the space for allowing me to speak on these subjects, because as a host, I don't often get to tell my story.
Right. Well, let's get into your story. Give us a little bit of backstory of Mrs. Tetris.
Yeah, sure. So I'm an American-born Fijian Indian. I'm not sure if any of you gentlemen have heard of Fiji, but, during the British rule, a lot of Indians migrated from India to Fiji. So I was born, I had some very old school parents, and there was definitely a struggle of trying to be the best of both worlds. A good little Indian girl, right, as I'm expected to be, and this American life that I see everybody live. So, growing up, and when I was younger, especially during my adolescence and teenage years, I didn't know I was the goddess that I am. I call myself that. I experienced a lot of bullying. I didn't have any confidence. I didn't feel beautiful. And as I got older, I grew more and more into who I am today. I went to university for English. I didn't finish, but I truly have a love for fascinating subjects. So I love to research and podcast on those topics. I've also been through some things. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of Bell's palsy, but Bell's palsy is a condition where you wake up with the entire side of your face paralyzed. So that was a very scary experience, a very humbling experience. The entire left side of my face was paralyzed. I only regained about 90%, but I'm very lucky. Not everybody does. So I smile every opportunity. You know, as cliche as it sounds, we take for granted. We take things for granted until we lose them, right? So when you lose a functionality of your body that you don't think of, you really see life in a different way. And just I'm a creator. I'm a big time family person. I'm Hindu. I'm a mother of 2 amazing kitties. And I
love Hindu.
Yes.
Yeah, I know about a lot about Hindu.
That's
y'all
really
service
cool.
every Sunday. Y'all service every Sunday.
It depends on the temple.
On Wednesday.
We typically have. Yeah, we typically have. We could have service for the temple's open any different days, but we typically have like Tuesdays, Fridays, different prayer days.
I go to one streaming every Sunday.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I watch how they set it up, set the fire, and
that is so cool.
How they order the stuff down. I see all that stuff. Yeah. I find it interesting.
Yeah, thank you. I love it, and I'm very proud to be Indian and be Hindu, and I try to incorporate those sides of me in my content as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing though, because we need that. A lot of people don't know about a lot of cultures.
I agree.
I try to get my kid out the way at the same
time. You two don't like kids, brother, man.
Hey, I've been trying to get her out the way the whole time.
From the algorithm.
They right there though.
We gotta.
But
we gonna drop some F-bombs later just to fix it.
Yeah, can you I'm ready to say, can you put like a blur on there when you do that? But anyway, you got this. You gonna edit it anyway. But anyway, yes, I was interested in the cultures of it. Hope y'all go. I was interested in the culture of it as Hinduism and stuff. So
yeah. And
Buddha too. Awesome. I do Buddha too.
That's really cool. I also practice Buddhism a lot. They're very similar, and I love that. I love that you have an appreciation for it.
Oh, you welcome. I'll be back.
Yeah, I don't practice myself, but I think the philosophy of Buddhism is just so far out. I mean, like the idea of like that you can detach yourself from outcomes, from things that you're pressured to attach yourself to so much in life just to find peace, happiness is amazing.
Yeah, thank you. And I really love that aspect of Buddhism as well. I try to master detachment on so many different levels because I think detachment equals power, right? You can't bring down a person that's completely detached. Now, I also mentioned earlier that I am highly sensitive. I'm an empath, so I can feel everyone's energies and emotions. So with that, it can be hard to practice detachment at times, but I am definitely mastering it more and more as I get older.
Empaths rule. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Now the screen's on me.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Do you find it with your empathy, it works with when talking to multiple different people, so you can like gauge how they are and how they like to interact and stuff like that?
That's a really good question. 110%. I always can feel if someone's nervous. I can always feel if someone's sad. I can feel if someone's mad. I can feel, obviously, their exact emotion and energy. And I use that to kind of embody what they're feeling to understand. And I utilize that in my interviews like 100% of the time.
Oh, nice.
So pretty much you reading off the energy.
I do, and I can kind
I do
of,
that a lot too.
yeah, that's awesome. And it's like kind of catering yourself to others, right?
Right,
To kind of
right.
match their
When
energy.
yeah, when you be off the energy, you could tell it's good or it's a toxic, or I don't know. Maybe I should just back off from it.
You're right.
I mean, it give you
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. It's like this gut instinct, right? We're all born with this gut instinct, but
Right.
there's also like energy. Like I always know if something's wrong. It can be a great thing, especially for my interviews. Sometimes it could be a lot, so I step away from social media for that reason. Sometimes just to get a little bit of a break from feeling everyone's energy all the time.
It can be draining.
Oh gosh.
Especially streaming. It's a draining, man.
It feels so good to hear that from you because I feel like somebody understands me.
I stream every day, so I understand.
Yeah, and I think that along with mastering detachment, I'm someone who really likes solidarity, right? I really, really like my own company, and although I am a very like extrovert, outgoing person, like I get exhausted really quick. Even just reading one DM can sucker the energy out of me, and I find that a lot of people don't understand that at all. So it feels really nice to hear you say that.
That's like the downside of being an empath. You're bombarded with people, energies, and emotions every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's you deal with mixed emotion of people in the streaming though. Like as with my DJ, I deal with trolls, I deal with all that stuff.
Absolutely.
They want you to play this, they want you to play that. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, and you've worked
that,
so hard on your mix to showcase the music you want to. Then you have everyone kind of coming at you.
Right, and then when they come at you hard. They come extremely hard. They don't come at you like one way, like, hey, can you just put this on? Hey, can you put Jay-Z on? You know what I mean? Like you in the middle of a song.
I think that's the thing when you're like providing a service, people don't see you really as a human anymore. They see you just as a product. So how does that affect both of y'all? That's a question for both of y'all since y'all do this daily. Like, how does that affect you personally?
That's a really good question. I'll let you go first. Okay, that's great.
I take breaks.
Yeah.
I get reported. I got reported. And I ain't even say nothing. So yeah, I take breaks. When they start reporting, I say, I treat y'all. I'm just gonna shut down. I shut down for like 3 days and then come back. Because when I come back, it's a whole new crowd.
Yeah,
it's a whole new crowd. The same crowd follow you the days on while I am all. I stream for like, let me see. I stream for like day and night, and then day and night on the next day, day and night the next day. You see the same crowd keep following you. So when you don't stream for like 3, you space it all. You got a whole different crowd because you got new followers. That just on TikTok.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, I also take breaks. I mean, what you just said about people seeing you as like just a thing or someone to cater to their needs, especially being an OnlyFans creator. Let me tell you, like, people think they own you because they paid your subscription fee or, you know, like, do this, do that. And that's why I am so strict and demanding of respect. But I also take breaks. You know, I take breaks. I step away. I do at all costs. I try to protect my energy. This is something I learned kind of the hard way throughout the years I've been streaming. But I always say, like, we have to put ourselves first and always protect our energy first.
Right.
It's quite interesting when you say that you get like messages and stuff. Do you get like tons of messages? Like how does it structure? I say like you'll reply to a set amount per day, or is it like 9 to 5? As soon as like it hits 5 or whatever time, that's it. It's cut off, and then you come back like much later on.
I absolutely love your question. And I set out to answer every message, every DM, be everyone's friend. And I just so quickly became so burnt out and I couldn't do it. So I now have a no DMs
Yeah.
sign on my bio. Also on OnlyFans. I did
that on
make
TikTok.
it. Yeah, TikTok is I actually don't get
They
as
no
much.
chill with that.
Yeah, I don't get as much traffic on TikTok, but on OnlyFans, if I did make it something to pay for messaging during the duration of one subscription, I did put a price point on that just because my energy is so valuable, and to converse with somebody, it takes a lot from me. So I did put a price point on that, and that has really that's really helped. Of course, you get people who don't respect that, and they just try they try to see. I like to be kind to people, but I think that sometimes people think that they could try to pull one over on me. Kind, but I'm still, I'm intelligent. So when they do that, I can scope it out right away, and unfortunately, I don't reply because I don't have it within me to reply.
Yeah.
Nice. So I've got another one.
Sure.
So with OnlyFans, well, typically, like when people think of OnlyFans, they think of like it's mainly female creators, and that's it. So, what are your thoughts on like males getting into the OnlyFans space? Like, do you think it's a good place for them, or do you think it's more directed towards females than most?
That's another awesome question. So in the time I've created, I have met some male OnlyFans creator online who are friends of mine, who had either been podcast guests or supporters of mine who have asked me. And of course, I can only give advice from the experience as a female creator. I fully support males. I support anyone, non-binary, anyone becoming a creator. But in my observations, I feel that it is 10 times harder for males to really gain a following on OnlyFans. And also, there's a lot of struggle out there. There are creators, there's female creators I know that have had their OnlyFans for a long time, and they struggle to get subscriptions. It's a very competitive world. So I completely support men creating and being OnlyFans creators, as long as they do realize that they have to really want it and really go after it, and it's a constant hustle.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people hustle when it comes to it, where some of the people that I used to follow would either every single day, like there used to be someone in the UK that they'd have a conversation, but then it would just be bombardment of, do you want this? Do you want this? And it's like, look at my sets. And while I understand the hustle, sometimes where I feel like it becomes overwhelming from from someone who's kind of like a customer, effectively, where I didn't know why I was thinking customer, but like from a fan, it gets overwhelming on that sort of side. So this is leading into another question.
Sure.
With other sites, you have like Fansly and other stuff like that. Do you yourself like kind of think it would be spreading itself like thin, like, if you're streaming on multiple platforms, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, and stuff like that, or do you find that you would only focus on, say, OnlyFans for like your content?
Yeah, and you did cut off slightly there.
Oh,
I
sorry.
believe. No, that's okay. Would you mind please re-asking the last part?
So it's basically, with other sites like Fansly and stuff like that, do you focus on, with the OnlyFans content, like kind of saying, hey, I'm on Fansly as well, or do you just go, I'm only on OnlyFans, this is where my content stays?
Sure. So first, if I may comment on, a creator sending messages for the hustle, I just wanted to say that tactic I don't agree with for other creators. In 4 years, I have never, ever once reached out to anyone in that manner, or reached out at all to ask somebody to subscribe to me. I only promote myself on my stories. I don't agree with that because I feel that we should be respectful of people. And when you're sending out a mass message like that, you're possibly shooting messages to creators, significant others. You're you know, there's people who have wives, who have partners, who have, and I just feel that we as creators should be respectful of other people's spouses and relationships and keep that in mind. And so I just wanted to comment on that I wish that other creators didn't advertise themselves in that way. When you're going into someone's DM, you're going into their space. So I don't agree with that type of hustle. But I only have ever used OnlyFans as far as streaming, as far as the online sex work. I have only ever used OnlyFans. I've looked into Fansly and other platforms, and OnlyFans seems the best to me because I feel like you have the most freedom. You can have music on OnlyFans without worrying about copyright issues, et cetera, et cetera. So I do use OnlyFans. TikTok, the moment I was able to go live, I went live. And I was showing a little cleavage, but I was immediately permanently banned from going live. And it was frustrating because I did not violate the services. I was frustrated for a while, and I haven't restarted to a new TikTok account because
That's good that they banned you, because now look at how Karma reacted. They're getting banned.
I love that.
They're fighting that. They fighting that. They just sued them.
Yeah.
We try to get banned. I don't know. It's going back.
Yeah, it's just, it can be frustrating as a creator because no shade to any other creator. I think that it's great, but I've seen creators do a lot more sexual actions, and I was just shocking. And I definitely feel that there's a bias. The same thing happened to me on Twitch. When I started on Twitch, the minute I hit affiliate, I was shadow banned, and I couldn't understand what for. I've seen fellow female creators do the most sexual acts and not get banned. And again, it's no shade toward them, more power toward them. But when I'm on my couch reading a book, I mean, I was doing things like talking about Eastern philosophy. That's not okay.
I think that was it. The funny thing is, with some of these big platforms, the moment you start educating people and speaking with some type of intellect or something worth to feed the minds, you get shot a ban. Promise you.
Actually, she would do good.
Exactly.
She actually would do good in Bigo because Bigo actually allowed it.
I haven't heard of that
Bigo.
site.
Oh yeah, I used to be on there. I was there for 3 years. Now I see no more ass shaking and everything over there.
Yeah, it became a cesspool at this point. It's like all I see is fights on Bigo. That's it.
Right.
Oh yeah. Bigo,
I'll have to check it out. And but you know what?
It's BIGO. That's all you got to type on your phone.
BIGO. And the thing is as I mentioned earlier, I'm spiritual. A lot of people just I'm an old soul, and I feel that sex today is just viewed as just people are so jaded because of pornography and how pornography portrays sex, when sex is the most sacred thing out there, right? Can I get deep with you guys for a minute?
Yeah, of course.
Go for it.
Okay, let's get deep here, right? So two human beings, right? The closest that two human beings can physically be is through sexual intercourse. You are sharing energy with somebody. And we as humans have taken that, this beautiful thing, this spectacular thing, and I feel made a mockery of it in several different ways. And I am different. Like, I'm just put into this category of, OnlyFans is nasty, whatever. But if I actually strive to teach the world something different about sex, I also am a stickler for terminology. I don't like explicit terms or pornography terms. Like, I don't know if I'm just open to say, but like the words used to describe body parts, it just irks me. I feel that most can't even converse in a sexual manner without titties and this and that. I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. So
you're allowed to say it.
Okay. Yeah, and so I try to show something different. I really do, and I I don't know if that would be welcome on the platform that you mentioned, because a lot of people are stuck in their ways. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, she's just whatever, she's talking about whatever. But the people who have actually listened to me, I have had people saying that I've helped change their perspective on things a little bit.
That's actually pretty good there, because again, you do need to change the conversation around OnlyFans and sex work, because again, people just think that moment of pleasure, that's all that counts. Let me just watch it for 5 minutes, get my rocks off, and I'm good. But
Absolutely.
offer more of that. It's more, like you said, a spiritual journey through the act of sex, for one. I mean, it is just that moment of pleasure can literally heighten your emotion to a whole nother level if you get there. So
Yeah, and that's the spiritual aspect of it. I feel like to be gifted to have potentially have that much pleasure, like that's huge. That's huge. But today we just kind of base our views based on porn. Porn isn't real life. You know, a lot of the pornographies, they're all productions. They're films.
Yes.
They're not real. So yeah, and
dictate breaks.
yeah.
They forget their lines.
They do. A lot of the and you know, I get asked this a lot. If I may just say, like, if I do, I'll get guys that message me. Oh, do you do boy girl content? I only do solo content. You know, there are certain things that I do not wish to show the world, which includes relations with another person. I feel like that is so intimate. So I never do anything crazy explicit, which is what people want to see, right? And I also just put a very high value on my body, my sexual energy. So I charge what the world considers really high prices. And I think we all should. I think that paying more for a DoorDash order versus an OnlyFans subscription to see my body and access my energy doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm kind of going all over the place here. I appreciate the space to talk about these things.
Yeah. I think it's interesting.
Definitely a safe space. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say it's very interesting to hear it from a different perspective, because again, like, you know, as I said before, when like people drop into DMs and, you know, it gets a bit frustrating. But when you've also got people going like, oh, I just want to see you do this, or, you know, when are you going to be with your partner, or when are you going to do this, or when you're going to do that, it's more like that's my energy. Like, I'm not going to do it. But it's interesting to hear it from a different point of view than like most things, should I say. So it's really nice to kind of hear it. So I'm liking it. So
yes, thank you for that. I also wish that the younger creators, depending on what their experience and maturity level is, but just from personal experience and observation, I wish for creators to be a little older. I was 34 when I started OnlyFans. So I'm almost 38 now. I just feel like the things that come along with being on OnlyFans requires a certain mindset. I'm not saying that age necessarily equals maturity.
They do need life experiences.
I feel the same way. I just feel that I wish for an 18 or a 19-year-old to wait and gain some life experience before they jump into online sex work, because you need a certain level of maturity, I feel, and knowledge, I feel, to deal with some of the things you deal with.
Yeah, I have a question here.
Sure.
Even if you don't feel like comfortable speaking on it or so, but doing sex work, and again, it comes with age. Like you said, a lot of young people are getting into it.
Yeah.
Do you think starting at such a young age, or even getting into sex work, period, can desensitize you to your life sex in your personal life, and how does it affect you?
Oh yeah, 110%. I feel like it can desensitize. I have actually even conversed with several sex workers on my podcast who are either online sex workers. Some of them have been exotic dancers, strippers, and it really, it's a harsh world. And I feel like it can 100% desensitize their sex life. There's a lot that comes with it as well. Like, if you are someone who is looking to have a partner, you have to have a partner that's going to be accepting of what you do, even if it is just online, like me. So I do feel that instead of being a younger creator, wait a little bit, get some experience, meet people, get to know what people are, who people are, and be on top of it. People are going to try to take advantage of you all the time. There's also a lot of creators that do content requests just for the sake of doing it, even though they're not comfortable with it. And I just do not agree with that at all. When I say this, though, I don't mean to sound like I'm placing any judgment on anyone that does. I can understand it. Some people, this is their livelihood. This is what buys them their meal. But I feel that they can still be true to themselves and not have to step out of their comfort zone and still earn money to pay their bills.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's really well said. Like, I think they can apply to anything that involves an audience.
I agree.
Yeah.
Right. I actually got one question with this. With being a OnlyFans content creator, what would be the positive and negative outcomes of doing that type of work?
I love that question. I love that question so much, Mad Artist. So the negatives are, again, the judgments, the harsh judgments that come from others. I would also say that if you are not just an OnlyFans creator like I am, people bleed your OnlyFans work into all else you do. They don't see they don't see you for the professional person. Not everybody, but this is something that happens a lot. They only see that. They don't see that you're a podcaster and a dancer and a writer and everything else. The negatives are also the way people talk to you, the lack of respect that can come with it sometimes. Some creators I've talked to, it doesn't bother them at all, which is great. But I think because I am an empath that can feel energies, that it really can upset me. And just to be on a more serious note, and I hope this is appropriate to say, I have experienced some men thinking that I'm just this person who sleeps with anybody. And like I said, I don't even share my sex life on my content. It's all solo content. But I think that if you let the wrong person know, I think that you could be susceptible to unwanted advances. And your safety is also, I've had some unfortunate experiences, luckily nothing too bad, but I've also heard from other creators about their safety being jeopardized because they are on OnlyFans, and it's terrible. So I always recommend an incredible amount of anonymity and safety and, all kinds of things. And that's another reason why I recommend having some life experience and being older before getting into any kind of sex work. The positives, though, is I get to really have an outlet for my sensual energy, and it feels really powerful. Growing up as an American-born Indian in the old school Indian culture, oh my gosh, you're always told to cover up, and I've always been told to pull my shirt up, having a bigger chest, and just to really suppress that side of me. And it's really nice to have an outlet for that, because a person like me needs an outlet for that. And the money, I do make money, but in 4 years, I've never made enough to pay my bills fully or to solely rely on OnlyFans. I have several other revenues of income that I need to make a living, and that's another misconception people have. So it's ultimately just for expression and art. And again, I'm sorry I talk so much. Oh my god!
Oh no, we love it. It's
It's all good.
perfect.
It's all good.
No, we love it.
Thank you. My artist, great question. Thank you for that.
No problem.
So I was wondering, you're clearly a very hardworking businesswoman, but you also say you do a lot of artistic stuff for the sake of the art, whether it's online or not. And I was wondering, especially in a time where we're seeing a lot of content creators retire early, do you see yourself doing this forever, or do you see like a number money wise that you could get to at some point where you decide, okay, that's it, I'm leaving the internet forever?
I love that. You guys have the best questions. I love it. I love it so much. Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you. I feel that as long as things don't take a drastic turn, if things were to just hypothetically speaking stay the way they are now, I would continue to create regardless of what a number, hitting a certain number or having a certain amount of money, because I just love it so much. And also, I believe in working. Right now, I work without, as far as the podcast is concerned, I work without a monetary compensation, right? But I believe that work is a good thing to some extent. And I believe that creating is great for the mind, for the soul. And I love the art of it all. So I may take more breaks. I may, go out on a yacht and take some vacations that I would love to take. But I will always create, given that I have the space and the platform and all else to do so.
And that's good that you actually can, enjoy your fruits of your labor, if you say, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
See, that's kind of interesting because it leads into my question. What would be your kind of routine to, when you start shooting for OnlyFans? What's your kind of, how does it go? Like, from start to finish, what's your planning process to getting it all finished?
I love that so much. Another great question.
You're teaching a future student.
Yes, like a tutorial, right? So, for me, it's super important, for me personally, to never fake it. Never fake my mood, never fake my energy. So my first thing prior to creating any kind of video is to ensure I am in that right energy, that right sensual space. So if I have something going on in life that's gotten me down, or if I'm angry, I don't want that to be as a part of my content. So the first thing is getting the right energy. I like to put on some sensual music sometimes. Sometimes I'll even dance before. And then for me, it's embodying my goddess energy, right? So having a pretty outfit, or it's not about looking a certain way. For me, it's about feeling a certain way, feeling my most confident self. And I self-shoot everything. I'm not a professional. I just put on my camera on my tripod and create content that I feel resonates with me at the time. Sometimes I like to do polls on my OnlyFans. So I'll ask like, hey, what kind of content do you like to see next? And, and again, it is okay to freely speak about anything.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So I'll put it on there. What do you want to see? Do you want to see like a sensual dance or a self-pleasure video, or see like, I like to write erotica or read erotica. I like to do all types of like sensual content. So sometimes I'll put a poll out and let the subscribers decide. Otherwise, I'll just go and do whatever I feel like doing.
Nice. I like the erotica part because I read quite a lot of it.
Yes.
Try to dabble in it. But yeah, it's
I
something
cannot imagine your erotica.
really, really.
I would love to read it.
Oh, going with the tea thing. as she dripped her tea and was like, "Oh, it's so warm, but yet so sweet." As he
Oh.
no, we don't do that stuff.
I actually like hearing that in your accent too.
It's the British, it's the
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
that's funny.
it's fun. Erotica, I think is a great way of kind of expressing yourself. So when I've read quite a lot of it, it gives me like a really good way of writing, and I'm very good at like creating stories. So when I want to try and get into it full time, or not full time, but as a hobby, I would just go all out. Like it'd just be, what do I want to write about today? This, or this. So but I read a lot more of it than I do writing it.
I love it. One of my favorite websites, although there's so many stories on there that are just terribly written, it's called Literotica. So
I know about that. Yeah.
yes, so I love reading it. I also, again, having this background of being an English major and stuff, I can get so put off very quickly by specific language. It's hard to find a story that has language that I like, but I think it's really cool because you're reading words, and to be turned on by reading words versus today's society of just turning on porn and having to have some kind of like physical aid. I think it's very sexy to read a nicely written erotica story.
It does. It adds more into the mental visuality of it all, if that's a word.
It totally does. It totally does. Yeah, and it's all about the visual you get when you're reading what you read.
I'm sorry, I responded to a message. I know I just went dead. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll happily stare at all of you as you read your message.
I have no messages.
What does the ideal life of a content creator look like for you?
Another really, really great question. The ideal life is to be able to... Getting rich is not my goal, and getting extremely popular, reaching a certain amount of followers is not my goal. Being able
It's not worthy of you.
like it's more like being able to, first and foremost, which is something that I highly value now, it continue to help people in the sense of podcasting, helping others tell their story, opening conversations to sometimes some very difficult subjects, but also be able to pay my bills while doing that is the goal. Not reaching, not getting, blowing up or huge. That would be nice. I don't object to that. But the goal is to just be able to make a living out of what I do now. And I love what I do. I love it so much. But it would be great, especially after this long, to receive the monetary compensation as a podcaster. And I'm sure you guys can understand that, being podcasters. It takes a certain energy.
Definitely. But that's always, the goal is to see your success, become a success, or your passion become a success. I should rephrase that. But the hardest thing I know as a podcast and kind of like starting this whole little thing is like, okay, how do we start? I see the end goal. I see where I want to get there, but it's the steps to get there. And that's sort of the hardest thing to comprehend, is how many steps it takes to get to that level or where you think your success should be. But then you got to look back and like, I've done a lot to get here, but we don't appreciate that. So for you, how do you appreciate your little successes to get you to the point where you are now?
Wow, I love that question too. Oh my God. I love that question too. Always practicing gratitude. It's something that I've incorporated even more into my life. To me, I'm just so happy to just have the opportunity to talk to somebody and learn from somebody. And each interview that I've conducted has been monumental to me, because I've learned something new, and I feel so appreciative when somebody takes their time out to speak to me, because essentially this is just a show that I made up, So it's really cool. I've had the opportunity to talk to some really cool bands. I've had people perform. I've had this musician from Moscow, Russia. His name is Max Dettel. He's a finger drummer. He put on this like 45-minute set on my show. And at the time, you know, his English was not, you know, it was enough to communicate, but he claimed it wasn't that great. And it was just such a beautiful moment to have that, to be able to do that, to be in a time. I grew up in a time where we didn't have all this, right? The FaceTime and the streaming and stuff. To be in a time where we could have this. I've had a woman who was going through breast cancer, and for her to share her experience with my viewers and I was so humbling and beautiful. And one other experience I wanted to share: has anyone seen the show Bring It?
Yes, on what is it, like dance?
I know of it.
Right?
Yeah, the Dancing Dolls of Jackson, Mississippi, right? So their head captain, Kayla Jones, their former head captain, I had emailed her for like 2 years, and one day she finally responded, and it was so cool to me to get to sit and talk to her. It was just like this girl that grew up on TV that has dedicated her life to dancing. I'm sitting in front of her and get to talk to her, and it was monumental. So I celebrate every podcast. Every podcast is a big deal. Every podcast is beautiful to me, and I'm grateful for the opportunity, regardless of getting monetary compensation for it or not.
Yeah. We appreciate you for coming here and sharing your story and sharing that you are human and you're a beautiful human and intelligent one at that. Just people see OnlyFans, they just think, oh, this and that. And you come in here showing like, no, I'm a human. OnlyFans is my job. It's not who I am. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you for the space. It's really an honor, honestly. And you guys have all had such amazing questions. I'm like, I need to get them on my show. Like, I need to talk to them more.
Definitely. You are welcome back anytime you want to come on. You have our information. Just be like, yo, I want to chat about this or that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Super cool.
Super cool. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any more last remarks, guys, before we let Miss Queen go? Or excuse me, Miss Goddess?
I love it all.
I have one that is kind of, it's Tetris based because obviously, you know, what did you ever think about? There's a kid called, I think his name, let me have a look, Willis Gibson. He was the first person to actually beat Tetris completely. So
Willis Gibson, is this if you don't mind my asking, this isn't the recent. This was the first person. So
yeah.
If we're thinking of the same person, it's really cool to beat Tetris completely regardless. But if I'm thinking about the same little boy, I think he went by the name of Scooty, or like I think his emotion behind it was so cool. I watched them compete all the time on YouTube or Twitch, and let me tell you, some gamers don't understand like how much anxiety Tetris when those blocks start falling, especially with speed. Like it's like your heart starts racing. It takes a lot. I think it takes a lot of cognitive power to be good at Tetris.
You definitely had to be coordinated because I would lose in like 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh! I've obsessively played since I was like 7, and I could literally see blocks in my head at this point. The Tetris effect is real, but I think it's so cool that he beat the game. It also, my hands start hurting very quickly. They have all kinds of different tactics now with rolling and all kinds of special things that they do. But I was just honestly like fangirling because I thought it was so cool. I think it's really cool.
No.
Yeah, that was my last question because I only found out about it because a Sky News. We have a TV channel called Sky. What's a big company, and they have like Sky News, and literally when like he broke the record. They showed this clip online, and they were like, "Yeah, this is amazing." And then this news reporter went, "Yeah, just go outside and touch grass." And everyone went mental, saying like, this is the world record. No one's ever done it. And she was just like, "Yeah, it's just a video game. Just go outside and touch grass." And everyone went, "No, that's not how you do it. It's not how you celebrate."
Yeah, it's not. It deserves, in my opinion, a much bigger celebration. I mean, the game Tetris, like, it goes to level 29, but the original Tetris, but you can actually keep playing until the game crashes, which is when you actually beat the game, and it is a big deal to us Tetris players. It's a real big deal.
Well, definitely check out TetrisGoddess playing some unbeatable Tetris.
Yes, thank you.
One more Tetris question.
Sure.
Is there ever a place for a square?
Yes, all the time. All the time.
I didn't know where he was going with that. I was looking like, oh.
I was like, is this a metaphorical square? Or,
I didn't know where we were going.
There is always a place for a square. There's always a place for everything. I think it's how quickly can you put it down and clean up your misdrops. Like, how quickly can you clean up whatever doesn't belong so you can make it all belong and fit. But that probably doesn't make any sense, the way I'm stating it. But there's always room for a square.
Well, we definitely appreciate you for being here, like spending your time out of your day with a whole bunch of geeks talking about your professional endeavors and the ins and outs on being a content creator. We really appreciate that.
I really appreciate being here. A fellow nerd and geek here myself too.
Actually, one last question before we wrap this up. This is this for all the geeks, nerds, blurs, everyone out there. We gotta know: do you watch anime or Marvel, DC films?
That's another great question, Mad Artist. Thank you. I do not. I've tried anime. There was this one anime, I think it was about a girl who turns into a fish. Does that sound familiar? I think it was called like Ponyo or something.
Pollo.
Yeah, Pollo. I've tried to get into anime, especially because I do work with a lot of the gamer community and stuff, and they're into anime. And I've tried getting into Marvel movies, and unfortunately, it's not so much my thing. I'm sorry, but there is a show called Marvel Girl that started. I think it started last year, and it's about a girl who's Pakistani, and she gets her superpowers. I don't know if you guys seen it, and her culture is very similar to mine. And I love seeing that one. There are a few Marvel movies. I really liked Iron Man too, but I'm not super into any of them. Sorry.
No, that's fine. I'm into stories. Some Marvel movies are a little more comic booky, but some of them gets me in the feels.
Yeah, they're really good though. They're really good. Oh, really well done.
So if you want to get into Marvel but don't want to have that comic book feel, I recommend WandaVision. Dramatic across the board, really good. X-Men 97. It's animated.
There you go.
But it elevates the animation to like a dramatic show. It's really, really well written and story driven.
Oh, thank you for the recommendation. WandaVision. I'll have to check that out.
I'll give a throw in for an anime recommendation is Frieren, The Journey Beginning. It's such a very nice, chill anime to the point where you could, it's something that it gets you addicted to it, but you could be like, I'm stopping at any time. But it's a really nice flow one.
Oh, I love that so much.
I'm going to put two more on that pile. Attack on Titan or Cowboy Bebop. Both great gateways. Even people who hate anime love those shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't do that to her, man. Don't do that to her, bro.
I wish I was taking notes. Has anyone here seen Steven Universe?
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't even realize it was anime, but I did really love that show. So there's that. But like I'm gonna, when I rewatch this episode, I swear I'm gonna like sit and take some notes, so just to make sure I got it all, because I want to see it and then maybe potentially have a conversation with you guys about it.
Yeah, those are some good recommendations there. Something that you can sit down and you won't feel like you're being nerded out. It's just a great shows across the board.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah. But on that note, fellas and fellow goddess, you guys follow Miss Tetris Goddess on all her social medias. Subscribe to her OnlyFans. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you again. I appreciate you having me.